is a difference between you and me. We both looked into the abyss. But when it looked back at us, you blinked.
Graphic here, and this is another DC Legends video. So in a previous video, I briefly went over which tunes, which heroes you should farm if you are a beginning to mid-game player. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into their kits, each of them. Just so this video is just geared towards giving a better explanation. I'm just going to go and base in a rank of who you should take. And last place, as I said before, is Sinestro. I'm not even really see like I think I even L1'd him just because I was trying to get some kind of daily reward. But special damage and apply 1 affinity resistance down to an enemy. That purge. I haven't even allocated the legendary point. Purge 6 buffs from target. Purge 2 more if target is taunting. That's not a bad ability. But there's plenty others that do better, including Green Lantern. Special damage to all enemies, 50% chance to reduce cooldown by 1, damage plus 70% if an enemy has shield, gain intelligence up if not. Also, not terrible, like not terrible, buddy. Well, anyway, so apply enrage, 10% turn meter down, which is going to be higher, I'm assuming, with all these multipliers here. To 10. Oh, that's another 20. So 40 more on top of that. So 50% turn meter down. I'm having to admit, apply 8 intelligent down. I'm having to admit a little bit. Overall, overheal to Sinestro whenever an enemy is stunned or enraged. All allies have a 45% chance to gain 2 intelligence ups whenever an enemy gets enraged. You know what? He's still the worst. He had a rework in the last couple of months, I believe. He's still the worst, but he might be good on an intelligence up taunt team with Lex and Harley Quinn. Not as bad as I thought it would be. If I had Eclipso, Harley Quinn, Lex lead, that might work. The intelligence ups are interesting. But he's still the worst. He's still the worst out of the 4 that you could farm. Next on the list, as much as I hate to say it, because as I said before, he is one of my favorite characters, is Batman. I don't even use Batman, but I took him RB1 on principle, basically. And I think I have enough frags to take. I have 3,300 frags, and I'm basically sure I could take him RB5. I guess that's enough for RB5. So his kit, I think, is really good for early to mid game. He can hit pretty hard. He can also protect himself by going invisible. So let's just walk through the kit real quick. But you know what? We'll start with the second though. Gain invisibility, 60% chance to gain 4 invasion ups, additional 4 invasion ups. So you gain 8 once you give him the legendary point. All right. Now, the reason why that's important is damage to an enemy, 100% chance to silence if Batman is invisible. The invisibility is a very, very important thing. You want to open up with your A2. Part of the reason why he's not good on auto. Gain 40% turn meter if Batman is invisible. See, there you go. So then you're going to be going much faster if you're invisible and you have to hit the A1. You're going much faster because you're getting 40% turn meter off the rip. And then heavy damage, and this does hit hard. You can one-shot characters with this. Plus 85% crit chance if Batman is invisible. There goes that invisibility again. Plus 50% crit damage if Batman is invisible. There's your invisibility again. And then this had 2 stars on it. The second legendary point is plus 50% chance to gain invisibility. There you go. So that ability there does hit like a truck. You want to start with your second with Batman, then go to your third. Then if you're still invisible, go to your first. If not, if you're second, I think this has a 3-turn cooldown, if I'm not mistaken. And then passive ability, 24% chance to gain invisibility if Batman deals damage. Also purge 2 debuffs from Batman. So his main thing, if you ring that all the way out, 33% chance. So Also not a bad ability. So his kit isn't terrible. It's just that there are plenty of other characters that do this better and not really requiring invisibility as the main mechanic to make him powerful or hit hard. Which I'm assuming is a lot like Sinestro. The more I think about Sinestro, I think he might be good. Not as good as Batman, still 4th place, but there are just other tunes that do better in that arena. So let's go. Oh, I don't need to do that. I just need to change this. 2nd place goes to Zatanna. Zatanna can be in-game viable, and I have enough frags here, 1.4 thousand, 1.4K. She can be in-game viable. She is important, and I saw someone mention this on the Reddit. I'm sorry if I don't remember your name, but in the Reddit for the first post I did, they did mention that one important aspect that she does have is the heal in terms of progression. And I mentioned that before, but it is really, really important for you to survive certain battles. At first, special damage, apply 2 intelligence downs to an enemy. Purge, also purge 2 buffs from target. This is going to be helpful for you in terms of progression because, especially with the Lex meta that's been running around, applying intelligence downs is just going to help you survive. If you have Lex and she's special damage, it helps as well because then Lex is in lead and then you can get intelligent ups. Heavy heal and purge 1 buff from all allies. If they change this to a heavy overheal and purge 3 buffs, or you could even keep it purge 1 buff, 1 debuff, this would be so much better. She'd be such a better healer, so much better. But as an early to mid game player, this is going to help you out a lot. It helped me out a lot. I remember specifically just being low on energy with everyone, having this heal, and then you kind of get to take a breath and go at it again. Oh wait, purge 2 debuffs. I never finished that off. So all you need to do is the overheal. Just change the overheal. That's all you got to do, WB. So this is still bothersome. This ability here, special damage and always purge 6 buffs from enemy. Apply 4 intelligence downs. This is very, very good in the end game as well. It still hits pretty hard. It's not going to one-shot anybody, but it does give serious damage. It purges those buffs, which if you're going up against a Power Girl is a pain when you're early and mid game. This purges the buff, so she loses her strength ups and her taunt. Things along those things. If you get lucky, if you want to be bold and try to toss this at a Harley Quinn, if it actually lands, then it's helpful. But if it doesn't land, then there's a Zatanna's dead. Passive ability, 23%, chance to apply intelligence down on enemy that damage Zatanna. Let's add that up. 12, 16, 20, 53. Did I do that math right? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So yeah, 53% chance. Apply 1 extra intelligence down on enemies that damage it. So you apply 2 intelligence downs when she's hit. She isn't squishy, but she isn't exactly going to not a tank either. So yeah, hopefully she doesn't die in the meantime. And yeah, it's good to have as a passive. Team leader, which I think I've used her in team lead like twice in 3 years. All allies have a 34% chance to gain 15% turn meter if debuffing an enemy, which is not terrible. Plus 2, 4, 7, 9, 12. So was that 46? I must be doing math wrong to get all these weird numbers. 2, 4, 7, 9, 12. Okay, it says 40. It says 46. I think it should say 50. I must be doing math wrong there. To gain 15% turn meter. 15% turn meter, yeah, it's great if you don't have any other lead. However, 15% turn meter is not really anything to write back home about. Although it does encourage you to put her on a debuff team, and she does debuff a lot. So on her basic. So yeah, that could be good. 15%. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna sneeze at 15%. 15% is decent. 15% is decent, but there are better leads. Now your first place is obvious. You have. Whoop. Get that back up. Hal Jordan. I took him. I did not bother with Hal Jordan at all until he got that rework. And then I had enough frags to take him RB2, I believe, or RB1, and then later on I took him RB2 just because I wanted him to stay pretty powerful. As I said, he is remarkably boring. He's so boring. And maybe that's just my prejudice against lanterns. I do like, I read Blackest Night, and I like the lanterns more now, but meh. All right, so anyway, damage to all enemies, apply 24% shield to a random teammate, which is great. The call assist is awesome. Do love the call assist. Any chance to get more damage in. This ability I did not use properly for the first 2 years I had Green Lantern, like for the first year after his rework, I should say, but I have not used the ability properly. And this is the major part of it. Gain 40% shield and 25% turn meter. I do not like it because it's only on him. Now, granted, Hal Jordan is a selfish character if you go by some of the comics, but only himself. I wish he would do that for the whole team, but he's already pretty. He's awesome. So apply 10% shield to all teammates. So, I mean, 10%, he gives a little, kind of like in the comics. When strength of will is used, reduce cooldown of all abilities by 1. That is a part that I was ignoring. I used to always just skip using his A2 just because I didn't care. He's a pretty tanky character. He can take a lot of damage. And so I just never bothered with it. But I didn't realize that it would reduce cooldowns, which makes Hammer Time his heavy special damage to an enemy. This is the anti-Harley Quinn hammer. Apply stun if Green Lantern is shielded. He will have shield most of the time. Hammer Time can't miss once you put the legendary point on it, and it purges 10 debuffs. So bye-bye Harley Quinn. Hard light at the beginning of each enemy's turn. 60% chance to gain 1 agility up or 1 intelligence up if Green Lantern is not shielded. He's typically shielded. So this passive ability is kind of, I mean, it's there, but he's usually shielded, and when his shield goes away, he is pretty tanky, but he shields himself again basically immediately. And this ability even says when you get the legendary point, it also gains 10% shield. So, I mean, it's okay, but if they were going to make this ability, then why make it a 60% chance? You know he's going to be shielded most of the time, so just make it 100%, and that's that. Also, as team lead, and this is the part that makes him very, very in-game viable. The Hammer Time does help a lot, but this ability here, apply 1 debuff immunity and 30% shield to all allies at the start of battle, but you have an extra one, so it's 2 debuff immunities. That lasts for 2 turns, plus 30% shield. That is huge. That is huge in PvP, especially when you're going up against those, or just for the reason that you're going up against debuff teams. It becomes a bother because that person who's going to face you defensively has to figure out a way to remove the buffs if they want to use debuffs. And if you put him at lead against those debuff teams, then you have a couple of turns to get your team revved up before a whole bunch of disease and bleeds and dooms hit you. So, actually, should I take that to 35% shield and what's that, 70%? No, maybe I should. One day. But yes, Green Lantern, though he may be boring, he is an amazing character. Definitely the #1 that you should be farming if you're early to mid game. I still have to crack him. Sometimes I just refuse to use him just because I don't feel like it, because I don't like the character. But I have to admit that there are just some jobs that even in the end game, he's just the best lead for. So that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching all the way through. Please subscribe. Also, look out for the heroes that you should be farming from Chapter 2. There's going to be a brief one like the previous one, and then I'll do a more in-depth one for each of the characters. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found something useful. See you next time.